My fiancé keeps going out late before morning flights. This time, he missed our flight entirely. I'm a 31-year-old woman, and my fiancé is 35. We're having a big problem that keeps happening over and over again. It's really making me wonder if we should get married at all. My fiancé has this one particular friend. Whenever they hang out together, which isn't super often, they always end up drinking a lot and staying out very, very late. They often don't come home until 2, 3, or even 4 in the morning. Most of the time, I'm usually okay with this. I understand that people need to blow off steam sometimes. But it becomes a really big problem when it happens right before we have to catch an early morning flight for a trip. This exact situation has happened about 5 times now. It's not just a one-off thing. Last night was the most recent time, and it was just as frustrating as all the others. We had to wake up at 6 a.m. for our flight, which is already pretty early. At 1:30 a.m., I was still awake and worried, so I called my fiancé to ask when he was planning on coming home. He said he wasn't coming home yet, but would be back soonish. I've learned that when he says soonish, it could mean anything. Sometimes it's just an hour, but other times it's 3 hours or more. You really never know with him. I've asked him so many times, probably more than I can count, to either meet his friend on a different night or to come home earlier when we have a flight the next day. I've explained to him over and over that when he stays out late like this, it makes it really hard for me to sleep. I toss and turn, worrying about him and about us missing our flight. I've also told him countless times that his hangovers make us both absolutely miserable the next day, especially when we're trying to travel. But no matter how many times I bring it up, he just won't listen to me. Last night, when I called him, we ended up getting into a big argument. I was so frustrated that I told him I don't think I can marry someone who acts so childish and irresponsible. I said, he doesn't communicate with me about important things and makes me feel like he doesn't respect me or our relationship at all. It was a really tough conversation. He finally came home at 2:30 a.m., but for some reason, he couldn't get into our house. He only called me twice, which didn't wake me up because I was finally asleep. He didn't text me or knock on the door or anything. I think he might have left his keys at home again, which he does pretty often, or maybe he was just too drunk to figure out how to get in. Either way, it's pretty concerning. When I woke up in the morning, right on time for our flight, I couldn't find him anywhere in the house. I got really worried and started to panic a little. I called him, and that's when I found out he was outside. He came stumbling in, looking very drunk and worse for wear. He told me he's not going on our weekend trip because I said I might not want to marry him. Then, he just fell asleep on the couch, leaving me to deal with everything. I really need him to be more responsible and show me more respect. He's really, really bad at talking about problems or dealing with conflicts. Whenever we argue about anything, he just stops talking and completely ignores me. It's so frustrating. I'm totally fine with him having nights out with his friends in general. I'm not trying to control him. It's just this one specific situation that keeps happening that's causing all these problems. I'm really angry about the whole thing, but I'm also really hurt. It makes me feel like I'm not important to him. Am I asking for too much here? What can I say or do to make him understand that this behavior is not okay? This is definitely not how people should act when they're about to get married and start a life together. We're supposed to get married in just a couple of weeks, and honestly, I don't know what to do anymore. I'm starting to have serious doubts about our future together. One more important thing to mention. He only sees this particular friend about once every month or 2. It's not like it's happening all the time. And he doesn't act like this with his other friends at all. It's just this one friend that seems to bring out this irresponsible side of him. I'm really at a loss here. I love him, but I don't know how much more of this I can take. Is there any way to fix this? Or am I just fooling myself?